Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we are off. We are running another brand new live edition of Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I want everybody to know that we need a lot of positive energy for everybody to make a difference in how we go about what we try to do to have the best football team in the Southeastern Conference, the best football program in the Southeastern Conference. And I think everybody should take the attitude that we're working to be a champion, that we want to be a champion in everything that we do. Every choice, every decision, everything that we do every day, we want to be a champion. Everyone take ownership for what they need to do relative to their role, and whatever it is, whether it's being a fan, being a booster, be a good one. Any kind of supporter that you are for this team, everyone take ownership that we support each other so we can have the best possible football program that Alabama's ever had, and there have been some great ones.
That was 17 years ago. Nick Saban's introductory press conference. I was sitting in there listening to those words, and yesterday the words came out that Nick Saban stepping away from the college game.
Yes, he is. It was a very interesting afternoon. He was still making calls, trying to hire coaches as late as yesterday morning. He absolutely was, as reported by Nick Kelly of the Tuscaloosa News. He was, trying to fill out his staff, but I think there was some frustration with guys he was trying to hire, guys he was trying to retain. I think his age was being used against him. They were all afraid he was going to retire within a year or two. And I think, he grew increasingly frustrated, and then he didn't like the way recruiting ended. And I know before everybody says they were number 2 in the country, there were some offensive tackles that they recruited that they weren't able to get commitments from. I just think and then I think there's some family health concerns that also tipped it. And from what I understand, this is not something that the Board of Trustees and some high rollers and some people in the know were completely surprised about. I think they knew there was a chance this could happen. So they had a contingency plan already in place, and it's already underway. They're already hitting the ground running. As Wes Neighbors reported last night on The Drive, I think there is going to be a coach in place within 72 hours by Friday.
Well, that's what the school said. The school told the players yesterday, and they even released it yesterday, that they would have someone in place in 72 hours.
That's correct. So I believe they're going to have the new coach in place in 72 hours by the end of the week, before the weekend, because, again, the transfer portal reopens for players when their coach retires and or leaves, and that's the case with Alabama. So they have to get a coach in place, and I think Nick Saban has definitely been involved in that too. And he will be from what I understand, he's going to be around. Right now, I think everybody in the facility is kind of getting a couple of days off so they can get all their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
But again, Nick Saban will be there to talk to players, to talk to parents, and to make this a smooth transition. No question about that. But again, I always kind of thought when Coach retired, and I still thought he had 3 to 5 years left in him. But again, it's not just about Coach Saban, though. It's the family. And I'm not going to comment and go into a lot of detail about that sometimes, because especially with he and his wife, it's a family situation for football. She's heavily involved in it. Sometimes things happen with your family, and you just that can shift things. That can be maybe weigh heavily in the decision. And I think that's what happened this time. And I think overall, I everything I had heard leading up to yesterday and the way he had grinded in recruiting, I thought he was going to keep going. Right. No question about it. I think everybody did. But I know, and even as Wes said yesterday on The Drive, he said, look, I had started hearing some things yesterday, but I've heard them before. And I've also heard Coach Saban's gotten frustrated before. And from what I was told yesterday, he's frustrated. And the last thing I was told before, what I guess it was about 4:15, 4:20, whatever, when hell broke loose, was that it was 50-50 that he might retire. And so, but I was thinking that things would get worked out. He would work things out with the staff. But there was rumors about Travarius Robinson taking a job elsewhere, and then of course Bo Davis went to LSU, and Bo Davis has always been a point of conversation. But I mean, he's not hired Bo Davis for several years,
right?
And so I didn't think that was going to be an ultimate tipping point. So, but again, I just think it all kind of everything aligned to where I think he just decided this is it. And when they called that meeting, I had confirmed there was going to be a meeting at 4:00, and but they do it every year though, same time, and they set the agenda for the off-season program, spring practice, what they're going to do, and that was at first what was thought. Okay, this is what's going to happen, and I'm telling you, the players and the coaches that were in the building thought that's what it was, and then he walked in there and retired. They leak it to Chris Lowe, who, as we know, since our great late friend Cecil Hurt, and I wish we had him this morning to get thoughts or read his byline, Chris Lowe has basically turned into that guy. And so
he's the guy that Nick Saban trusts, too. There's only a few of them and Chris Lowe has access to the program.
When Chris Lowe reports that, and he reported the Kevin Steele retirement too.
Right.
When that comes out, it's 110% accurate. And so he decided to call it a career. He's the greatest coach in the history of college football. I mean, what you just played those opening comments that he made, and you were there. You were in the media.
I was sitting. You were
sitting there in the room. I was not. I was not in the business at the time. You were. You were sitting in the room. Yep. Everything he said came to fruition. Absolutely everything. It's probably the greatest press conference in history.
Six national championships, 201 games, 11 SEC titles. And you can argue that it came during the most competitive era of any conference in 154 years of college football.
Well, you can, and you can also, and really you can't argue. The reason there is an SEC network, the reason coaches make $12 million a year, the reason there are off-field staff, the reason there are director of player personnel, the reason there is, what they're referred to as organizations is Nick Saban. Nick Saban was the first one to start hiring analysts, and Nick Saban, to be honest with you, he started winning at such a clip. They were trying to pass rules every other year to make it harder, and he still solved those problems. He was still solving NIL and the transfer portal. But eventually, and he's hinted at it, the sport needs fixing. But eventually you get tired, and eventually it becomes really, really hard. And I think that's what's happening.
Coach K.
Good point.
Roy Williams.
Yes.
I mean, these are –
Jay Wright.
These are phenomenal Hall of Fame, legendary coaches in their sport. And they all stepped away most recently, and a lot of it, you could say, is because of the transfer portal, NIL, and everything going on outside of just the X's and O's. It becomes hard to maintain. It becomes hard to do it. And that is why, and everybody, and we'll run down all these names that people, started throwing out instantly for head coaching opportunities at Alabama. That's why you're going to see somebody younger come in probably, because they're built to handle the NIL, the transfer portal, everything that's going on right now in sports are just built to handle it a little bit more. 256-576-4977. You can join the program this morning. Pat from Tuscaloosa is with us. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat.
Good morning, guys. I'm going to make Dabo say no. And if I can't have Dabo, that Lane will take the job. Lane wants the job. It's Lane's dream job. And I understand administration and my bunch of bullcrap. I got to have somebody that will bring Ryan Williams back into the fold. He is a generational talent. There's no doubt about it. That's one of your bylines there, Drew. No doubt about it.
Well, I'll say this as far as Dabo Swinney goes. If I'm out, I would say no to that. because he doesn't embrace the transfer portal.
Nope.
Doesn't embrace NIL.
Nope.
And not that his age is there. You need someone that is going to go out and embrace it, use it, and continue. I don't think Dabo Swinney's that guy.
Nope.
I don't. I don't.
And his program is trending down.
I know Dan Lanning's sample size is small.
Yep.
But I would take a Dan Lanning right now over
10 times out of 10.
Dabo Swinney.
Yep.
All right, what about my second one? Because and I will also volunteer. You know who President? What you guys studied about history, but President Washington said, "I cannot take a salary for guiding my country. I cannot take a salary for taking care of my school, but I want an unlimited expense account to be Lane's wingman and make sure that he doesn't get in trouble."
Well, I'm just saying, Pat, I very seriously doubt it's Lane Kiffin. And I wouldn't want to be on 60 Minutes. I wouldn't want to be, a 30 for 30 like Pete Carroll's. Pete's getting a lot of, respect for walking away from the Seahawks after 14 years, even though I think he was kind of pushed. But still, I mean, he had a great run. He won the Super Bowl.
Right.
He did a great job at USC. But we all know how the Trojans ended. Okay, and now I know the NCAA is a lot different now than it was then, but I'm just saying, and I want somebody that's an elite recruiter. I'm just going to be honest with you. Lane Kiffin ain't it. He ain't an elite recruiter, man. He's a portal king, but that we don't even know if that works.
Right.
Okay, so Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning would recruit circles around Lane Kiffin. Dan Lanning is a grinder. Dan Lanning, I don't care if he's only been a coach for 2 years. He's also been inside the building at Alabama. And in 2014, I can tell you this: in the defensive meeting rooms, it was Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, and Wesley Neighbors. And Wesley Neighbors was the lead defensive analyst, and he had several GAs that worked under him, 4 or 5 guys. One of those guys was Dan Lanning. And when Kirby Smart got the job at Georgia after the 2015 season, 2 of the first people he hired were Dan Lanning and Glenn Schumann. And Dan Lanning has already gone off to Oregon.
Right.
And it wasn't a great Oregon when he took it over. It was pretty good. Mario had started to get it stabilized. But he's taken it to a better level than Mario ever had it. And he's killing it in high school recruiting. He's killing it in the portal. And he's got one of the best programs already on the West Coast. And yet he understands the Southeast. And so I think Dan Lanning, he turned down Texas A&M for a reason. Okay, he didn't want that job, but I think there's a couple of jobs he's had, his eyes on. And again, and I know people are going to say $20 million buyout. So what? There also might be an escape clause there that nobody knows about. All right.
Well, I know. I'll say this though. I mean, Dan Lanning appears to be the target. But the one thing we know about Greg Byrne.
Right.
Well, he's not. But that's okay. That got refuted.
What's that?
Dan Lanning being in Tuscaloosa yesterday. That was refuted.
Okay. Because it was reported by multiple sources.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of them swing back to one person. But again, the situation was, there was a misunderstanding. He wasn't in Tuscaloosa yesterday, but that doesn't mean he's not the guy, and that doesn't mean they haven't had a plan.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the buzz has been around the Lane Kiffins and even D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico doesn't make sense because they said 72 hours, which is Friday. He's coaching a playoff game.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any experience as a college coach. He has no experience in the portal. He has no experience with NIL. He is the NFL Coach of the Year, in my opinion. And he's one of my all-time favorites, but I don't think it's time for D'Amico Ryans to be the head coach at Alabama. He's just starting his journey as a head coach with the Houston Texans. So I think you need someone young. Dan Lanning is 37 years old, and I think you need somebody that understands college kids, and you need somebody that understands the University of Alabama and that can work lockstep with Nick Saban in this transition to get Alabama to the next chapter, which is continuing to dominate.
All right, Pat, thanks for the phone call.
Thank you.
Where they're piling up here. Let's move on. Mark from Spring Hill is with us. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Mark.
Mark,
Here,
good.
Kirby. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got
you now.
Hey, Kirby Smart and Coach Saban had a little discussion before the SEC championship game, and Kirby tells Coach Saban, enjoy it, you deserve it, and thank you for all you've done for me, Coach, as they shook hands and he walked away. Have y'all heard that?
Yeah, it was on the SEC Network. It
I
was
didn't
their
see it
mic'd up
yesterday.
segment. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yep.
So I really think this is not a. I think that Coach Saban has an inner circle that can keep their mouth shut. So I don't know why Kirby would say that unless he knew. And so I do think there's enough there was enough said in that conversation. And I think if you look at Kirby's expression as he sort of walks away, I think there's such mutual respect between those two. So anyway, I think a lot of people knew. But for me, of course, as just an average Joe fan, it's a shock. I remember Coach Bryant when he died. I even though Saban's not dead, I kind of felt that way. But there's everything has to come to an end. And I was just going to throw out this real quick. Sarkisian should get a look, in my opinion. I think he can continue the success at Alabama. I don't know what the buyout there is, but here's the thing. I'll let this be my last comment. The Washington coach, the Oregon coach. No, let's go back to the Washington coach. He has the best offensive coordinator in the country, right?
DeBoer, yes.
Kellen DeBoer and then
Yes.
Grubb.
So why wouldn't you go get him and you get the package deal? You get both.
Well,
Wait a
Kalen
minute.
DeBoer's name has been mentioned.
Yeah, I think DeBoer is very intriguing.
Yes.
But I, in the end, I don't think it will be DeBoer. We'll see. I mean, I'm not saying it's off the table. I definitely think that he did hire Jimmy Sexton recently, and I think he has an extension on his desk that he hasn't signed from Washington. And his offense is very, very intriguing. There's no question about that. So I do think he would be on my short list. I had a discussion with another one of my closest friends about this in the media about around October when Alabama was trying to find its footing, and it was early October and they had been struggling, and we were wondering, could this be it for Nick Saban? Could he finally decide to retire at the end of the season? And we started spitballing, okay, what names make sense for Alabama? And I had watched the entirety of the first Oregon-Washington game. Didn't get a chance to see the championship game because I was on the road, but I saw the first one. It was a great game, 36-33 game. I thought Oregon should have won. I thought, Lanning took some chances that he probably shouldn't have taken, but DeBoer took some too. It was a great game. But I really liked the way Lanning's team looked. And what I mean by that is throwing the ball, running the ball, being physical. And I like DeBoer's team too. They throw the ball around. They're fun to watch. But I thought still that Oregon looked like the sounder team. And
Right.
so I just basically told this person, I said, look, I would be, and we both have a mutual contact in college football that we vetted, because I didn't know a lot about DeBoer Scott. He won those NAIA titles at Sioux Falls, right? And then he had gone to Fresno State and done well, and before that he'd been at Indiana under Tom Allen as an OC, but didn't know a lot about him. So I started because I had got him confused with another coach. So I was just, okay, let's look at this guy and what he's done, because he ended up winning 21 in a row.
Right.
And I was like, he's very, very intriguing. But the more I thought about it, I just felt like Dan Lanning made the most sense because, again, he's been within Saban's organization. He's very young. And
he knows the SEC.
And DeBoer has never been in the Southeast. And the one thing that Dan Lanning is doing is the recruiting aspect. He's embraced NIL.
Right.
He's embraced the portal, and he's done well with both. And he took that Oregon program to light speed to get them to the point where they would have been in a 12-team playoff and would have been in it this year if they had beaten Washington in the championship game. So I just think he did a great job, and I think he makes a ton of sense.
All right, we've got to get a break in. Nick, Bryce, Jacob, we're going to get to you guys as soon as we return for break. Give us 2 minutes, and we'll get right back out to the phone lines. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Look looking okay this morning. Traffic at a heavy level all across the valley. So far, though, it appears to be a pretty good ride in. No wrecks, no stalls, no traffic signal problems that we found. You be careful on your trip in. Hopefully we can keep it that way. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The all-new Huntsville Boat Show returns to the Von Braun Center January 11th through the 14th, and I'll be broadcasting the Tom Abraham Show live from there at lunchtime on the 11th and 12th. The Huntsville Boat Show is an exciting time for all boat enthusiasts, as it allows buyers to save thousands of dollars on the purchase of a new boat or just shop many brands for your future purchase. Plus, many other retailers will be on hand as well for all things water. So plan to be at the Huntsville Boat Show at the VBC January 11th through 14th. See you there.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, and wow, what a 24, 48 hours it has.
Scott,
been.
have you ever spent 3.5 straight hours on your phone texting and calling without being able to put it down?
No,
that's what happened to me.
No. Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, and Pete Carroll all gone. All gone. Bill Belichick expected to part ways with the Patriots today.
How apropos, though, that he and Saban, and I know Belichick's likely not done, okay?
Right.
We understand all that.
The Atlanta Falcons, they're rumored to have interest.
Oh, that would be, oh my God. I'd have to go find Chad if that happened. We'd have to go find Chad, and we'd have to go for a drive if that happened.
Yeah. But anyway, 872 wins, 9 national championships, 7 Super Bowl championships between the three.
But it's interesting that they call it quits the same year at the places that they've been the longest.
Yeah.
Because they're so connected.
Yeah, all very connected. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. Nick is with us this morning. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good,
Nick. How are you?
Good. Hey, a lot of people, it's crazy to think that almost 2 decades of Nick Saban being in Alabama, right? And I mean, that's majority of people's experience with Alabama. And people are, they're thinking that Nick Saban just, like yesterday was the day that he decided that he's going to retire. I think that Nick Saban decided this a while back, right? And I think that it's possible, and I want to get y'all's thoughts on this too, is maybe when Nick Saban did decide to retire, whenever that was, which like I said, I think it's been a while. Do you think that he has probably been a part of the plan going forward to find his successor and maybe helping to in the efforts to get a coach that's going to replace him, specifically maybe Dan Lanning?
Let me tell you. Let me phrase it this way. I think he knew there was a strong chance this could happen. I don't think he was 110% sold on it until yesterday, and with some things that were going on. I think, with his family, and then with the family decision, and then when he was trying to fill the slots on his coaching staff, as he continued that process, and as he continued, trying to manage the roster, I think everything aligned, and I think he just decided. Now, I think he told people in the athletic department and very powerful people in Tuscaloosa, and I'm not talking about the players and coaches on his staff.
Right.
I think people above him knew that there was a very strong chance this could happen.
A greater chance this year.
You know how
than
they have the
before.
bat phone or that red button or whatever? He told them, okay, have the bat phone ready or the red button to press, and then we start this. And then I think they had already. I think he and several people close to him within the Alabama power structure already had a plan in place. Okay, this is what we're going to do should I decide to fully do this. And I think he decided to fully do it yesterday.
Right.
And that's when I think it was after lunch. And again, I'll just tell you for sure that the players and coaches within the building, when they were going to this 4 o'clock meeting, they were not going to this meeting expecting him to come in and say, I'm done.
Right.
Everybody was caught off guard in that way that were in the building.
If-
but yes, I do think there was a strong, at least for over several days, over a week's time, I think there was they knew that there was a chance this could happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and another thing that I've heard a lot of people throw out Sarkisian's name. I think Sarkisian's in the conversation, but my opinion is Sarkisian being at Texas and them coming into the SEC, in 2024. I don't think Sarkisian makes a move to Alabama. I don't think he's going to be the one that they announced on Friday, because Sarkisian he's built a great team. He's built, he's got Texas in the right direction, and them coming into the SEC this year, I think that's where he's going to stay.
Yeah, and Texas is going to give him a contract extension. It's supposed to be they've indicated that they've got one ready. After he wins the Big 12, he gets them to their first college football playoff appearance. Steve Sarkisian is staying in Texas, I believe.
If it's an offensive head coach, it will be Kalen DeBoer, in my opinion. But I don't think it'll be DeBoer because he doesn't have ties to the Southeast. Nick Saban didn't before he went to LSU, but the key caveat was he had been in the Southeastern Conference. And I think being in the SEC matters. I think, if you can find someone that's been within Nick Saban's organization, matters too. I mean, it's not the factor, but I think it can heavily help you. And that's why I've been talking about Dan Lanning. And again, I don't give a damn about some $20 million buyout. There might be an out clause or in it that we don't know about. And even if it is $20 million, guess what? It's football.
Well,
Alabama can pay it.
And guess what? Nick Saban just arrived about 3 minutes ago at the Malmore Athletic Facility in Tuscaloosa. So obviously he's going back into the office this morning.
Right.
To, I imagine, just finish doing what he's got to do. So,
and
last thing,
go ahead.
Last thing, just a wild what if scenario, right? A little fairy tale what if scenario. Alabama and Nick Saban and Bill Belichick has been, close friends for how long, and now that Nick Saban's leaving and Bill Belichick's leaving the Patriots, how wild would it be if Bill Belichick came to Alabama for a few years before he retired?
I don't see that one would be wild. That would not see
him nor Mike Vrabel is going to. The only time. Okay, let me rephrase this again.
Thanks for that phone call,
Mike
Nick.
Vrabel and Bill Belichick will be in Tuscaloosa at a workout for a prospect for the NFL draft. That's the only time they will be there. They will not be inside the building. They will not be there for a press conference to be the next head coach.
Bryce is with us this morning. Good morning, Bryce.
Hey guys, I appreciate you letting me talk, Drew. It's not Bryce Young. Y'all don't get too excited, okay?
All right.
Drew knows who it is. Hey, guys, from what I'm hearing, Dan Lanning's in Tuscaloosa right now. I don't think he comes down there to look at the Bear Bryant Museum.
Well, I don't think he's there yet, Bryce. I'll just say that.
Well,
I don't think so.
Well, I heard he was there last night.
Yeah,
and I don't know how true it is, but that's what you see, I'm not starting no rumors. That's what I heard.
Right.
But I think that's why Mr. Saban is in the building, Coach Saban, because he's going to have a big part in this. And
I agree with that.
Does everybody trust Greg Burns?
Yes, I do. And I think Nick Saban
when we
does
needed
too.
a basketball coach, what did he do?
Yeah, he hired Nate Oates.
Yeah, and the reason why he hired Nate Oates is because they went to Tom Izzo, and he said he didn't want to start all over, and he told him to go to Buffalo. Next best thing to me is what he said, I'm sure.
Right.
Guys, I think, if he is there, he didn't come down there to look at the Barry Bryant Museum. I think he's the guy because he's young and energetic, and he can work the portal, and that's what we need is somebody who's going to stay another 17 years like Coach.
Well, I agree with that,
He's
Bryce,
young.
but I don't think they're going to be interviewing anybody. I think if somebody comes to Tuscaloosa, they take the job. We're not going to have a
That's
Joe
what I'm
Ab
saying.
Thomas where he screws it up and to ask
So
Bobby
this is how
Bowden to
this
interview.
this is how this is going to go. Alabama's going to pick up the phone. They're going to call Dan Lanning's representatives.
Right.
The representatives are going to say yes or no that Dan Lanning is interested in the job. The representatives are going to work everything out. They're going to say this is how much. They're going to do it all behind the scenes. Representative agent's going to pick up the phone to Dan Lanning and say it's a done deal. Alabama's going to
Can I
send the
ask y'all a
plane out there.
question?
They're going to get him and they're going to bring him. That's how it would all probably go down.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah.
Who's his representative?
It is a guy that he's a former protege of Jimmy Sexton. It is not Jimmy Sexton. I did confirm.
Well, does Jimmy would be a done deal, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know.
John, let's see here. I'm trying to find his agent's name here, and we'll find that one out. It's not hard to find, but I can.
Drew,
Yeah, go ahead,
Drew,
Bryce.
let me ask you another question. I don't think Coach Saban, if Dan Lanning's not there, he's probably coming in, and they.
I would agree with that too.
Plane,
I would agree with that too, Bryce.
And
Agreed.
he's there to close the deal. Coach Saban's there to close the deal.
All right, Bryce. Thanks for the phone call, bud. Jacob, let's go to Jacob real fast. Good morning, Jacob.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good.
I was just wondering if Dan Lanning is the candidate that Alabama chooses to get. Is there a chance that he could bring Tosh Lupoy with him as the defensive coordinator?
I would say Tosh coming back to the West Coast, I would doubt, but I don't think it's completely off the table, but I would doubt that somewhat.
Do you think there's a chance they could go after a Glenn Schumann at Georgia and offer him a big offer or something since he sort
Well,
of
I mean,
knows him?
I've heard that. I mean, I think it'd be very hard to get him away from Kirby, but he and Dan Lanning work together closely at Georgia, so I don't think that's completely off the table. I would think also keeping Travarius Robinson would be very important because he still holds the key to Ryan Williams.
Yeah, there was a speculation last year that he was sort of calling some of the plays, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was calling the defense.
And that's not even a speculation anymore. Nope. Now we know that is actually the truth.
You think there's a chance that if Lanning came that he could bring some transfers with him to Alabama?
I mean, any of that's possible.
Yeah, because remember now, if let's say Dan Lanning or any other coach leaves their current position, those kids have 30 days to go into the transfer portal and find a new home. So while Alabama's guys are on the clock now for 30 days to find a new home if they want to, if Dan Lanning were to leave Oregon, let's say today, the 30-day window would open up for Oregon, and they would have the ability to leave.
Yeah, I seen last night where it said that Caleb Downs could be leaving to go to Ohio State, but that's just probably a rumor.
Right.
I'm hoping we're able to hang on to him since Ryan Williams got away.
Well,
we'll see if Ryan Williams.
Look, all Ryan Williams has done is decommit.
Yep.
He hasn't signed anywhere, and he's not going to until February. So he hasn't officially. I mean, yes, he's decommitted from Alabama, but he's not out of the picture. So.
Yeah, hopefully if we can get the right coach, we can get another visit with him, or he'll reconsider or something. But
yes.
All right, that's all I needed. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jacob. Let's get a break in. When we get back, Husky Dan, we will get to you as well. And plus more on Nick Saban stepping away, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Really is going to be a beautiful afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. We're dropping into the mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. Early into your Friday morning. During the overnight, showers and thunderstorms are going to begin to develop across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the strong end of the spectrum, but it doesn't right now look like we're going to be dealing with any severe weather. A mostly cloudy sky through Friday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to continue through a good chunk of the day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks working now. Got one county in the 2100 block of Bond Bridge Road. Nobody's hurt there. And we got one in Limestone County just reported, 31 in Garrett Road. That one is coming in as an injury type. With Huntsville's unemployment at record lows, hiring is a challenge. Snelling can help you recruit those office professionals that you need. Direct hire, temp, or temp to hire. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Installation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
It's official. 47 years in a row, Ford F-150 is the best-selling truck in America. Come drive one and you'll see why. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to kickstart the new year in a brand new F-150. Choose from nearly 200 F-150s, and we think you'll find just the right one. Right now, we have financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150s, and lease payments as low as $389 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have nearly 50 2023 Explorers for you to choose from, too, with financing as low as 0.9% for up to 60 months. Plus, check out our over 40 24 Bronco Sports and a fresh truckload of the full-size Broncos that have just hit the ground. Come on over and let's get the new year rolling. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. And let's get as many phone calls in as we can again. Let's start with Husky Dan first. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Husky Dan.
Hey, guys.
What's up, brother?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Yeah, Nick Saban was a great coach. I mean, he was a Don James disciple. One of the reasons why I became a Husky fan was watching Don James and what he did, and
yep, no doubt.
Alabama's definitely going to miss him. But you guys do not want Dan Lanning. I mean, I've watched every single game that guy's coached, and he's a horrible in-game coach. He is a great recruiter with Tosh LaPoy, which he will bring, and you guys will get him as your defensive coordinator. He'll make Wild Turkey seem like Bacardi 151.
Yeah,
but
he's already been Alabama's
Caleb
DC
Moore
one other time, and it was a
circles
disaster.
Around him
But
because
I don't think he'll be coming.
he could not make good in-game coach decisions. He lost in Autzen. He couldn't beat. His biggest win was against Colorado. And Colorado isn't even that good. I haven't seen one game where Dan Lanning's gone out there and dominated a great team or beat a great coach, except Utah, maybe. But Utah had one of the worst teams I've ever seen them have. I'd rather them get that coach rather than someone like Dan Lanning. He's unproven, completely unproven. I'm glad they're not going to take Kalen DeBoer because and that guy's a great coach, and he'd be perfect because he did the same thing at Washington. He kept all our recruits. Everyone else was going to leave and transfer. And then in 2 years, he had us at the top again because it was a similar situation with Lake and Peterson and all of that. But he was great at keeping all our players. And that's going to be the biggest problem with Alabama. They're going to get rated for all their players if they don't get the right coach. But they could be Nebraska if they make the wrong decision because Scott Frost is a lot like Dan Lanning. It's really easy to win at Oregon because they can pay their players whatever they want. They have great facilities, and the expectations are low. All they have to do is beat Washington a few times. They don't even have to win the Pac-12. They just have to be relevant. And he did that a little bit, but all he's done is recruit, and I think that's Tosh LaPoy because when we had Tosh LaPoy, he recruited for us too.
He recruited for Alabama as well. Yes.
Yeah, he's the best recruiter I've ever seen in college football. You get Tosh LaPoy, Sarkisian had him too. But, you need Tosh LaPoy because he is the best recruiter I've ever seen. But we've already seen with Texas A&M, recruits doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. You need a great coach.
Right.
I mean, all I'll say is if Tosh does come, he will
thanks
not
for the
be
phone
the
call,
DC.
Husky Dan. Thanks for the phone call and the
I
thoughts.
still think he and his wife would probably want to stay on the West Coast, and he'll be highly sought after.
Well,
but again, I just think look. I'll say this: and people taking shots saying Lanning's a terrible in-game coach, and he's only been there 2 years. Kirby lost to Vanderbilt at home his first year.
22-5 is what Dan Lanning is in 2 seasons at Oregon. 22-5.
Kirby got off to a rough start at Georgia, but then he quickly got things rolling. Okay,
right.
So, and I think Lanning is on the same trajectory.
I mean, Nick Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe in his first year.
Nick Saban lost to UAB at LSU. UAB, not Alabama. UAB with Watson Brown coaching. That's all you need to know with the shape that the LSU program was in when he took over.
Yeah. Let's go to Spencer. It's been a long time, I believe, if this is the same Spencer, but it's been a long time since we've heard from Spencer. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Hey. Good morning, guys. Yeah, it has been a long time. I appreciate you having me on, but I figure if I'm in mourning today, I figure I could join y'all in that as well. It's a sad day, guys. I mean, we've had a great 15-year run.
Yep,
at
17
the University
years,
of Alabama,
man.
But just to say goodbye to Nick Saban, it's just it just hurts the soul and the heart, man. It's been a really good run.
No doubt.
I tell you what, man, I'm a little upset. I mean, I know the paint hadn't even dried yet on his retirement. I mean, he hadn't done a press conference yet, and people are already saying we're already having the conversation of who's gonna take over for Nick Saban. I mean, we need a rebound girl. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and here's the thing: 10 years ago, 5 years ago, Alabama could have been diligent in this hire, taking their time a little bit, going through guys.
Not with the portal,
but in the age of the portal, NIL, recruiting, and everything that's going on right now, it's expedited the process in getting a new coach in. You've got to get one in. I know they said 72 hours, and they have to, because if not, you're going to lose your roster. And that you've got to get someone in fast.
One of the things that I saw yesterday that it talked about Greg Byrne, because Greg Byrne is doing this. Nate Oates within 2 days, and then and Rob Vaughn as well, baseball. He's had to hire 2 coaches in the major sports, and he got them done within 2 and 3 days. The same thing that's I think going to happen in football.
I've heard a lot of names thrown around, man, and out of all the names I've heard thrown around, Lane Kiffin is the best recruiter that I've heard. As far as he's dominating the transfer portal in the NIL. I mean, the guy lives on Twitter, and he's got such a big following. The young kids like him; they want to play for him. I don't understand why so many kids want to go to Ole Miss, but Lane Kiffin is doing a hell of a job in the transfer portal. I'd love to have him, but a name I haven't heard thrown around, and I'd like for y'all to give me a little insight into this, is why nobody's saying it. What about D'Amico Ryan?
Doesn't fit. First of all, and I love D'Amico, one of my all-time favorite players.
Right.
Great coach, great young coach. He's got a playoff game to coach this weekend. If he wins, and it is not completely off the table, he could win that playoff game. I know they're underdogs slightly at home, but they could win that playoff game. Then you're talking about at least one more week, and the transfer portal will be open. He doesn't fit the 72-hour window because he has a game to coach this weekend, and he has never coached on the college level.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
The college experience.
No, none at all.
I mean, is
yeah,
would Alabama fans be comfortable with a coach coming in with college
he would be. Everybody, the fan base would love D'Amico. I would love D'Amico. Everybody would.
From a name perspective, you would love him.
I'm just talking about if you think about it in a sensical way.
Right. That's where I'm going. Yes.
I just don't. He's never coached in college. And, again, you're trying to get a coach in place by the end of the week to go into the weekend to retain your roster. He's not gonna do that to his team, man. He's not gonna all of a sudden say, I'm going to the University of Alabama. Let's name my OC Slowick the head coach. Hell no. They have a great young team. He owes that to the Texans. And again, he's in his first year as a head coach, period, too.
Right.
And he doesn't have the college experience, in my opinion, as of right now, for that to happen. I don't see
that
it.
sample size is even smaller than Dan Lanning's sample size as a head coach.
Okay, well, here's my question. Because right now we need a palate cleanser. We need the rebound. The next guy that comes in Alabama, you can't fill the shoes of Nick Saban. So, I mean, we're going to go through a little downturn here, and I don't think the next guy that gets hired lasts 3 years. So my question for you would be, would D'Amico be an option, to replace the guy that replaces Nick Saban? Would he be interested in coming to college? I just want to know if you've heard anything.
I haven't heard anything of that nature,
Yeah.
and you can't. It's very hard to put on a hat and say the next guy, whether it's Dan Lanning or whether it be Lane Kiffin, and I stuck my head in the toilet. It would be now I know if it was Lane Kiffin, it'd be 3 years because Alabama would probably be on probation by then. But again, I just think overall. You can't say it's going to be 3 years and out. Now, you could be. I mean, it could be that it doesn't work out and they don't win. I mean, and we've seen Harsin fired in 2 years. We've seen the clock is a lot quicker. But if they get the hire right, I think you could see another 8, 9, 10-year run. Now, I wouldn't expect a 16 or 17 due to the climate of college football, but you could still see it because I'll be honest with you, the Alabama football job is better than 2/3 of the NFL jobs because you got a lot of dumb owners, you got a lot of stupid general managers, you got a lot of idiot people that are working in the NFL that wouldn't know a football from a basketball. And so
no offense, Drew, but let me be real with you here, man. 8 or 9 years, that's like, I mean, that's not going to happen. The next guy that comes in, there's such a need and a desire to win now. The what have you done for me lately mentality in college football. The next guy's not going to last 8 or 9 years. That's ridiculous, Drew.
Okay.
No offense. I appreciate your opinion and all, but you were the same guy that said that Ed Orgeron was probably the best quarterback or best coach in the SEC after he won the championship in 2000.
Actually, I didn't, but of course, as usual, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Drew,
That's all right. I expected that, Spencer. I expected you to come up with something in your Wizard of Oz mind. But I mean, thanks for calling back, bud. Have a good day.
Oh, let's move on here.
That guy's a moron. He should have been on the moron of the year list.
He hadn't even joined us in forever.
Nope, but he's still stupid.
We got to get a break in. It's more.
But you can't fix that. You remember that phrase? You can't fix stupid. You can't fix Spencer.
Let's get a break.
That's another Drew-and-Airy term. I never said Ed Ogeron was the best coach. That guy's a buffoon.
Let's get a break, and hey, he's available.
You think? Roll back!
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They've upgraded that wreck in Limestone County near Calhoun College to possible entrapment. That's 31 in Garrett Road. Just got 67 in Friendship Road in Morgan County. Tractor trailer involved. That one may have an injury. And we got a no injury in the 2100 block of Vaughn Bridge in Morgan County. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And no, Nick Saban has not decided to unretire.
No, he has not.
Just because he walked back into the building a short time ago doesn't mean he is unretiring.
Right.
He is just finishing up his business there inside the Malmore football facility. 256-576-4977. Let's go real fast. Let's get as many in as we can. Wolverine Dan is with us.
What's up, Dan?
Gentlemen, I'll say this. You know how I feel about the football team and everything, but I'm going to be brutally honest with everybody here. Now, if somebody calls your show or other shows in the United States and say that he retired because Michigan beat him the last game, they're full of crap. They're idiots. They're morons. That loss had nothing to do with this.
Zero. I don't think anybody's even thinking. Yeah,
zero.
The man don't have to prove nothing to nobody, okay? I retired at 62. He retired at 72. He worked 10 more years than I did in a pressure cooker environment, okay? And he excelled. He's the greatest of all time, period. And the man got the same thing he got from his wife and his children. Come on home. Stop it. Let's have some quality time with you. That's what my wife and my children did to me. And that's the same thing Miss Terry did with his children. And they said, Father, please, that's enough. Come home, stay home, enjoy the grandkids. And he don't have to apologize to nobody. So those people calling in and saying that he retired because of that last game, they're full of crap, and they're not even deserve to be on the phone. What do you think of that, Drew?
Why, nobody, and Dan, I agree with you in the regard of he didn't retire because he lost to Michigan. I mean, he's lost. Look, he only had 29 losses in his career, but I mean at Alabama. But I mean, a loss is not going to push him over the edge for that because again, you're not going to win every game. sometimes you're not going to have the best team. He didn't have the best team this year. Michigan had the best team. I think he had the second best team. But that's happened before during his tenure there. I think it was just a combination of things. I think a lot of it is the environment in coaching right now, which is very, very difficult with roster management and the transfer portal, in NIL. Scott and I were talking about the college basketball coaches that have stepped aside. Yep. Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, Jay Wright, Cliff Ellis, Jim Boeheim. You just mentioned, we should have mentioned him. I'm glad you brought him up, Scott. There's a lot of grinders that have been in this business for a long, long time that have gotten out of it because of this and because of the transfer portal and everything like that. It's very, very difficult. It was becoming harder and harder. And Nick Saban, it's something amazing that he did, Dan. He never had the same coaching staff return from one year to the next. No. Dabo Swinney had one that stayed together for a long time. When Bobby Bowden had his run of 14 years of being in the top 5, he kept his coordinators, Mark Richt for a long time, and of course Mickey Andrews. But this time, it's very, very hard to do now. I mean, you look at the SEC; it's pretty much Nick Saban's league because everybody has someone in their organization that worked for him. Yep.
Right. Well, real quickly, and I'll hang up. Let everybody else talk. Listen, the bottom line is this: he doesn't have to apologize to nobody. The man had a great career. And I'm happy for him. They can spend time with his family. And I will say this. It's a hell of a lot easier to play Alabama now without Nick Saban. I'll say that. I wouldn't say a lot easier, but somewhat easier because he's hard to beat. Yeah. And he's got nothing to apologize about. And I wish the best for him and his family. And you guys will find a coach. You'll get back on. You're still on top, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Thanks for the phone call. Let's go to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Man, I haven't been this depressed since Dale Earnhardt died. I hate to say it, but it's true. My family, I don't think most of us spoke to each other for about 3 days after he died. And I hate to see Nick go. I really do. Been probably the best thing ever for any program in college football history. He accomplished more in his short time here than some accomplished programs did in their entirety of their existence. That's saying a hell of a lot. Yeah. And I have this question. You were talking about the transfer portal reopening. The rule that the SEC has that if you don't go into the portal in the first period, that you can't transfer within the conference. How does that work?
No, they don't have – the SEC adopted the NCAA rule. So the SEC there's an exception to that. The SEC does make a similar exemption in the face of a coaching change. So that rule is out the window. So if Alabama players want to enter the portal, they can transfer to another SEC school. The SEC has an exemption just like the NCAA does, and those players are allowed to transfer within the conference.
Well, if Lanning came here, could we see Bo Nix in Crimson?
No, Bo Nix is done. Bo Nix is done. Bo Nix is headed to the Senior Bowl.
He's done. He has no eligibility.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was holding the COVID year or not. I couldn't
he just used
my head of winning.
Yeah, he's already done.
Just used. Okay. All right. Well, I wondered about that. We're about to find out who the real fans are. The people that's going to stay here, that's going to stay behind this program. I imagine we're going to shed a few. And when they leave, goodbye. Roll Tide.
Thanks for the phone call. All right, we got to get a break in. 256. Okay, actually, we're gonna change the conversation briefly. Gonna talk a little high school basketball for a moment. We'll be right back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
Men's hoops last night. UCF upset number 3 Kansas 65-60. The Knights paid plus 270 on the money line. Kansas was a 7-point favorite. Plus 118 Mississippi State upset number 5 Tennessee 77-72. NFL wildcard action this weekend. Big game on Sunday night when the Lions host the Rams. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford facing the team that drafted him first overall in the 2009 draft.
Once the ball snaps, it's time to go play football, and just love being a part of this team. You know, the way we fight, it's been a really fun year. Looking forward to it continuing.
The 12-5 Lions favored by 3. The Rams 10-7 heading in, plus 150 on the money line. The over-under is 51.5. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Hour 2 of Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN Zone. And I've asked for a new – okay, we're going to have to pause the Nick Saban talk. I know we got a lot of people that want to still join the conversation.
Yeah, we do. And they will.
I've asked for a new Team of the Week thing to be built.
Yeah.
Said we needed it by Wednesday. Don't have it yet. So we're doing our makeshift.
I still like it. I mean, you know, it's still like Olympic, like oriented.
It is.
And it's not football.
No, it is not football.
And this is a very prominent Olympic sport.
Well, this is, yeah. So there we go. So anytime you hear this music for right now, it indicates that we are introducing another 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week. And if you're keeping track, Bryant Bank gave us carte blanche to write some checks. And we have written some checks this week to a tune of $1,500. Not one, not two, but 3 Team of the Weeks. And here is our third and final.
And how apropos would it be to have Bryant Bank a part of the conversation today in this show? Because Bryant Bank, of course, owned by Paul Bryant Jr. and, of course, the son of Coach Paul William Bear Bryant, who is one of the 2 greatest coaches in college history. We haven't talked a lot about Coach Bryant today, just a little bit, because it's been about Nick Saban. But it's great to bring the name Bryant into the conversation during this show.
It's all connected. 6 degrees of separation. Was
there
that Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, there it is.
Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees.
Mm-hmm, totally.
All right, let's do it. Let's introduce our third and final. Well, we were going to keep doing these throughout the winter sports.
Right.
And we will have more as time goes on. But we've got a very deserving one now.
Yes, for the first time in 38 years, they won the Huntsville City Classic in one of the greatest finals ever played in the tournament. I've done 34 in a row. It was one of the greatest I've ever seen against it was the number 1 Huntsville Crimson Panthers against the number 4 Austin Black Bears, and it was a 61-60 Panther win. They have followed that up since that time, starting 7A play.
7A area
7 play. 7A area 7 play. I've had my phone next to my ear so much, my brain is about fried here. But 7A area 7 play 2-0. They had a bigger crowd for the game against Grissom than even that electric one for the Huntsville City Classic final. They won that game, a very hard-fought one, 60-51 over the Grissom Tigers, led by Jack Doss. And then they followed it up going to Albertville, who's ranked 7th in 7A, and they win that game 84-54. Caleb Harrison with a career-high 36. The Huntsville Crimson Panthers are 22-1. They're ranked 11th in the country, and they are the Bryant Bank Team of the Week, thanks to our great friends, as Scott said, at Bryant Bank, who have given us the leeway to honor these great programs around, and the Huntsville Crimson Panthers will be. And their head coach, Christian Swears, has been kind enough to join us on one of the most legendary shows we've ever had with what we're doing. Coach, how are you doing this morning, man?
Man, guys, thank you for that. I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it today. I'm a huge Nick Saban fan, and he's impacted me indirectly in a huge way. And I felt a sense of sadness yesterday when I saw that, and then appreciation because I think he's the greatest coach in football, but I think he's one of the greatest coaches in the history of athletics. And so I am honored to be a part of the show on this day that we're kind of honoring Coach Saban's career.
Yeah, and Coach, I kind of expand on that. Your father was a coach and a Hall of Famer, won a state championship. You've been in it since you got out of college. You've been a basketball coach for your entire career. But we've heard Nate Oates talk about how he had a very symbiotic relationship with Nick Saban. He even studied Coach Saban before he took the job at Alabama. As a prominent high school basketball coach, what did you learn from Coach Saban, and how did you kind of use some of his philosophies to mold what is one of the best high school basketball programs now in the country?
Well, I just think that the way he approaches the whole thing is exactly the way that it should be done. And that's probably what's been the biggest thing that sticks out to me is just the whole, I think it's been termed the process, but basically just taking every day in stride, not getting too high, not getting too low, dealing with adversity, overcoming adversity, working as hard as you can, playing as hard as you can. And, because of that work, you'll play with confidence, and you'll improve. And it's about improvement. It's not about playing to an opponent. It's about playing to a standard. And these are all the things that we preach in our program. And they're not just philosophies that Coach Saban came up with, but I just think the way he's done it and gone about it is truly the best way. And, we have a quote of the day at our practices at Huntsville. And, man, I'll be honest, I probably just Google Saban quotes and just throw them in there because I think he hits the nail on the head about every time. And, I didn't go to Alabama, but I sure respect that football program, and I really respect him as a coach. When I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a coach. That's just, some people know what they want to do. I've been blessed and fortunate enough to know for a really long time what I wanted to do. And so I watch coaches. I listen to coaches. I'm studying from coaches, and I'm almost 40, and I've been doing that my whole life. And he's somebody that I've been very impressed with. And so it's definitely had an impact on me, and as a reflection, had an impact on our program at Huntsville, which I'm very proud of. I'm very proud that we're the team of the week this week. We've had a heck of a season, but we still have a long way to go, and still have a lot in front of us. And I'm really proud of the way our players have played this season.
Yeah, you capture the Huntsville City Classic, and that was a big win because it was the first time in 36 years that you crossed that check mark. 38 years, my bad, off the check mark there. That night, you get the win. There's celebration on the court. It was a great moment. When for you, though, did it actually feel like you won the Classic, that the I guess you could say the energy or whatever kind of leaves, and when did you feel and did it set in that you won the Classic?
I mean, it set in pretty quickly when they handed us that trophy, and I got to see our players celebrate and have smiles on their faces and see how excited they were. And then as I got in the locker room, they doused me, drenched me with water bottles, and we had a good time. And it's fun. It's fun to win championships. It's fun to do things that have never been done before, been done in a really long time. And because it's fun because they know how hard they've worked. And these are things that we talked about, 6-8 months ago. And they've worked extremely hard. And so I did. It felt great. I probably let that jubilation go another, probably 24 hours. And then I remember Saturday night, I was pretty much turning the page and ready to start thinking about area play and Grissom and Sparkman and Albertville, and just not resting on our laurels, so to speak.
And I thought it was interesting too, because And it talks about you being you talked about Nick Saban's process, and you're a process-oriented program. The players were very excited, and, of course, they celebrated, but I didn't think they acted like they went to the Final Four or won a state championship. They understand more work is to be done, but I think it's also a thing where it's one of those things, Coach, as you came to Huntsville, you X things off a list. It's very difficult to win 4 games in 3 days, and in some ways, winning the Classic is more difficult than winning a Final Four. And if you prove you can do that, it's a huge hump to get over. And they've done it twice, really, when you talk about the Into Hoops Invitational at Bob Jones and then the Huntsville City Classic.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think that it's a straight toughness thing. I don't know that it's necessarily the best basketball team that wins 4 games in 3 days. Obviously, you need to be good, but you need to be more tough than good to do that. That's not really something that happens these days in terms of playing 4 games in 3 days like that at that intensity and in front of that crowd. And so I was really proud that we did it. It's doubly tough for us because we're a pressing team. And, you kind of go into those games like, man, we're trying to win the Classic. Do we just play like we normally play? Do we keep pressing? And we just went about it the same way as always, and our guys showed a lot of toughness to do our style of play 4 times in 3 days. And I tipped my hat to Austin. I thought they played an extremely good basketball game. I thought they were very tough as well. They made a lot of winning plays, and that night is unfortunate that somebody had to be to lose the game because they played extremely well. And I tip my hat to their team and their coaches, and they're having a really good season as well. So really proud, though, of our guys. And just to kind of – we've had several games like that this year where we've won less than 5 points, and we preach toughness, and we try to develop toughness in the preseason. And just been fun to see them. And you talk about process. We have several guys that are juniors that are making huge contributions that, we threw on the varsity when they probably weren't ready as ninth graders. But we remember sitting down with each of them in my office and kind of laying out a big picture plan for them and saying, hey, this is going to be a really hard year. But you're going to really thank me in about 2 years that you went through the adversity you're going to go through this year. And, I remember Braden Rivers, just not getting the minutes he wanted, not having the role he wanted late his freshman year, and just the pain he probably felt because he's a competitor, and of not being in the position he needed to be in. And that struggle and that adversity has propelled him to really work. And I'm just using him as an example. Eli Stapler's the same. Josh Bowman's the same story. And now as juniors, these guys are playing like seasoned vets, and just really happy that they decided to go through that process. And I think that's a lesson for anybody listening, that it doesn't just happen overnight. And you just don't become a good player overnight. It takes work, and it takes failure, and it takes time, and you have to overcome. And these guys still have a lot they want to do, but they've achieved an awful lot this season also.
We've seen several teams come through that Classic, win it, and use that Classic win as a springboard to the second half of the season. Really kind of gives them a new sense of energy, I guess. I don't know what it is or the best way to describe it, but you guys have come off that Classic, and you've played 2 area games, and you've gotten 2 important area wins.
Yeah, having to follow up the Classic with, a rivalry game that matters. It's an area game, and it's Grissom, and the crowd's going to be packed, and we set a school record for attendance that night. To have to follow it up and play that game, and I thought Grissom played really well.
Oh, they did,
getting a lot of teams' best shot here lately, and that's just part of it. But I was really proud of how we played that night. And, Tuesday night was a big game at Albertville. They had a huge crowd. I had several Albertville fans come up to me after the game and compliment our team and tell me they hadn't seen the gym that full in 5 years. And it says a lot about Albertville and the job Major Deacon's doing this year in his first season. Excitement in their program, excitement in their community, but also it had a lot to do with us being there that night. And I was really glad to see our guys answer the challenge, and we played really well, had a great defensive ball game, and, number 23 makes a lot happen. 16 out of 20 from the field, 36 points, and I just can't say enough about how well Caleb's played this year. But, we got another big area game on Friday against what's turned into kind of a respected rivalry with Sparkman.
Yeah, it really is. But I'll tell you what, it's great to have number 5, J.D. Gossett, healthy, and then a young guy, and I still consider him young. I know he's a part of that junior group, but to have Eli Stapler start stepping up the way he has, Coach.
Eli is the point guard we need. He is we're so much better when he's on the floor. He makes the ball move. He pushes in transition. He's smart. He knows where it needs to go, and he's shooting about 40% from three. So the area he's really improved in is on the defensive end, and really proud of him for that. Not necessarily been a strong suit of his, but he's really improved in that area this season. And so, JD is playing at a high level with a lot of confidence. And, I think the sky's the limit for him. I think what you're seeing from him now is just going to be kind of normal at 13, 7, and 6, and just impacts the game in a big way. And just such a tough player. And I'm just really fortunate that I get to coach these guys. Not only are they really good players, they're great kids, man. Like, that's what makes it so fun. And it's why I want to be a coach. I want to be around good people like this and impact them in a positive way, and just be a part of a team. All these guys could be on another team and be the best player on that team and average more points than they're averaging this year. But they're on our team, and they choose to play together, and they choose to be unselfish with each other and sacrifice a little bit for the betterment of the group. And I just got a lot of respect for them.
No
and
doubt.
You could have a 7A player of the year in Caleb Harrison.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely. I think he's absolutely a candidate for Mr. Basketball and Gatorade Player of the Year, and as well he should be. So still have a lot of work to do. Really proud of them, though, to this point, and just got to stay focused and keep getting better.
No question. And you guys are the Bryant Bank Team of the Week, $500 from our great friends at Bryant Bank. We look forward to seeing you guys before practice today to do the presentation, but it's well-deserved, well-earned. Winning the Classic is a huge deal, especially for one of our local teams. It's been a great season so far, but much work to be done, as you said, Coach. But congratulations to you, your staff, which is outstanding, the players, and we look forward to seeing you later today. And we thank you for taking the time today to join us.
Guys, thank you as always for what you do for high school sports. I've said it before. There's not another city in Alabama that has what you guys bring to the table, and just really thankful for y'all too.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, Christian Schweer's with us, Huntsville High head coach. We got to get a break in. When we come back, phone lines are back open to you, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a report of a wreck eastbound 565 near Greenbrier. Turns out it's a stall. It's in the left lane, so move right as you come through that area. Got Jordan in 9th with an injury, 67 in Friendship Road in Morgan County with an injury, 31 in Garrett Road in Limestone County also reported with an injury, 2100 block of Vaughn Bridge in Morgan County, nobody reported hurt there. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
It's official. 47 years in a row, Ford F-150 is the best-selling truck in America. Come drive one and you'll see why. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to kickstart the new year in a brand new F-150. Choose from nearly 200 F-150s, and we think you'll find just the right one. Right now, we have financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150s, and lease payments as low as $389 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have nearly 50 2023 Explorers for you to choose from, too, with financing as low as 0.9% for up to 60 months. Plus, check out our over 40 24 Bronco Sports and a fresh truckload of the full-size Broncos that have just hit the ground. Come on over and let's get the new year rolling. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back to the show. 256-576-4977. You can be a part of it. And the one thing that is disturbing to me, and I could be wrong, and right. I may be wrong, is everybody going down to the Nick Saban statue and putting candles and oatmeal cream pie and everything around it, like Nick Saban has passed away.
Like Coke bottles and stuff?
Yeah, like he's passed away.
I mean, what are they going to do? Just leave I wouldn't leave the oatmeal pies. I'd want to eat them. I mean, why would you leave a whole box of oatmeal pies?
Yeah. But I get it if he's passed away. To me, that just feels weird.
It does feel weird. I saw that last night.
He's retiring.
I mean, I could see putting a sign and say thank you, Coach Saban, and all this kind of stuff. But putting Coke bottles, I mean, you need to be drinking Coke and you need to be eating oatmeal pie. Now, you could stand by the statue and eat an oatmeal pie. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be leaving oatmeal pie. Those are perfectly good oatmeal pies that somebody could be eating.
Food.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
You knew we would intertwine food into this show.
Somehow.
Is it weird that they're doing a memorial or that Auburn rolled Toomer's Corner in celebration?
Of course, Auburn would roll Toomer's Corner in celebration.
That's an Auburn thing.
That's a tradition that they have.
That's an Auburn thing. That one is I'm okay with. It's the lighting of the candles and everything because that is reserved for usually vigils and stuff for people that have passed away. Nick Saban hasn't passed away. He just
when
retired.
Auburn rolls Toomer's Corner, it's because to me that's honoring Nick Saban and honoring his dominance over the Tigers.
Let's go to Grumpy real fast. Good morning, Grumpy.
What's up, Grumpy?
Hey, forget about all this other stuff. You're telling me that if I go to Bryant-Denny, I can pick up some free oatmeal.
There you go. You could go probably about 5 boxes.
You can probably get a lot more than that by now.
You can get a case of Cokes.
You could probably get
a case of Cokes and get about five packs of oatmeal pies. You'd have a nice day there. It's like you were going to Costco or something.
Yes.
Hey, how long is it going to be before we get that Alabama logo on the oatmeal pie? Is there going to have some commemoration pies coming out?
Well, they'd probably put Nick Saban's face on some of them now.
Hey, real quick here. Thanks for doing that segment. I know you guys were almost apologetic. We got to go talk. But, you guys do the local sports flavor. That's what makes y'all special. So, yeah, that local basketball story was great, man. That thing held up. I wasn't sure it was going to hold up with all this other stuff, but that was a great segment.
Appreciate
Auburn fans, Rolling Toomer's Corner. I'm glad you guys take the point of view that that's what we do. Auburn doesn't have cowbells. We have Toomer's Corner. If Alabama's coach was terrible, we wouldn't have rolled the corner.
Right, exactly. Right. It's a show of respect, in my opinion.
Yeah, and real quick, everything that Nick Saban has done, leads me to believe that agents have already talked to agents, and the coach has already decided. We just don't know who he is yet.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we said. That's why I said in hour one that this is all done through behind the scenes. It's not Dan Lanning saying, well, I don't know. It's Dan Lanning's agent talking to Alabama people and them working it out. And all the agent is doing is going to the coach, whoever it is, hey, do you want to go to Alabama? That coach says yes or no. The agent then works everything else out. That's it.
Yeah, and people, I heard somebody earlier saying, come home to the wife and kids. Nick Saban's going to be out running the roads, living life, and slaying opponents. He's just not going to be doing it on the football field. He's not stopping. He's not sitting next to the fire.
And he may end up on ESPN. He may end up doing some Saturday game day stuff, or who knows.
Yeah, he'll still be changing people's lives wherever he is, man. Charity work, all that stuff. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks. All right, Jeff from the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
Guys.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, well, first of all, I just want to, before I get to me, I want to say, I want to congratulate Tim Couch on being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. He's already in the NFHS, the National High School Hall of Fame, so got inducted. Cat Fest thinks it's long overdue, and I don't know if it is or not, but he finally got his just due. And I was thinking about this yesterday and thinking about it last night, and I never dreamed I'd say this statement. Mark Stoops at the University of Kentucky is the dean of Southeastern Conference football coaches.
He is now.
Mark Stoops is the dean of SEC football coaches.
Been there the longest, yep.
I never thought I'd say that in my lifetime. The only man that's lasted 10 years at the University of Kentucky. People don't think about that. They don't say that with him, but he is. They look at his record. Oh, A&M looked at it. Oh, we can't hire this guy. He said, we can't hire him. Let me tell you something. I just soon coach at Alabama A&M or Florida A&M before I'd coach at Texas A&M. I tell you that right now. And, I mean, Mitch Barnhart is the greatest athletic director that University of Kentucky will ever see. There's sports over there at the University of Kentucky that never even thought about competing for SEC championships or national championships. The coaches he's hired is unbelievable. I mean, did you guys ever think today that the Kentucky football coach at the University of Kentucky would be dean of SEC football coaches?
No, but it happened by the skin of the teeth, because if it hadn't been for a revolt, he would have been at A&M.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if it hadn't been for the stupid board didn't want him, so that's fine. We'll take him. We'll keep him. That's why they didn't like his SEC record. That's why they didn't take him. Period.
Wow.
They just looked at that and said, no, we don't want him. So we'll go down there. We'll go over Saturday and kick their basketball team off and play.
At least you're number one in football and something.
Yeah, I mean, and in basketball, I think for basketball right now, you got the best team in the league.
We're number one in everything. And after last night, at Tennessee, some of these teams, 1, 2, 3, and 5 already went down. Yeah. So I guess Mississippi State ain't that good. I guess I don't know, but that's why Rick Barnes is not in the Hall of Fame, and that's why he's called regular season Rick. You guys can have Rick Barnes all you want. I'll take.
Thanks for the phone call, Jeff.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks.
Nick Saban's retired.
Nick Saban retired. We don't really give a rat's ass about Kentucky. Okay? We're talking about Nick Saban. We talked about the Huntsville Crimson Panthers. We don't give a piss about Kentucky.
Oh, what's the dude's name? All we give a
Roll
piss.
Tide Willie.
Roll Tide Willie. There we go. All right. Let's slip in Rod here real fast. Good morning, Rod.
What's up, Rod? I know you don't care about Kentucky.
This is great radio, man. I'm like, wow. Y'all could sell this and sell it, man. This is awesome, man. Spencer, did he come in there? And All right, where did that come from, that guy's phone call? I mean, I didn't understand that.
Spencer calls once a year.
Yeah, he does. He likes
and
to
picks
go
a
to
fight.
me. He likes to pick. I was just letting him talk. I said nothing. You know, I've jumped down his throat. I've cut him off. I didn't say a word.
One of the greatest radio moments of this show involves Spencer.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he decided, as usual, because he's a mutton brain, he decided at the very end to throw a shot at me. I could say something else, but I don't want to say something. You know, I don't want.
You've
to insult
already
him
reserved that
much.
once for him.
Exactly.
He already felt the wrath.
He had to get a shot in. I wasn't taking a shot at him, but he had to get a shot into me because he's a moron.
Well, what I'm saying, I just block him, man, because, I mean, it's like, it's not, we don't want to go.
He brings nothing to the table.
No, I'm saying I'd block him. I'd be like, boom, but anyway, I'm just hoping we get this thing done because, I'm worried about these other coaches, like, trying to come get, our best players saying, hey, let's come on over here. And that's what I worry about. And I just hope they get it done. We can get this thing done and, keep what we got, and just go from there. I hope Laporte could come with him and, if he has to coach the D-line or whatever, I don't know where Laporte could coach. I know he's D-line coach, but and get, Schumann over there and then let Lanning run it all and just run with it. But we hopefully, we got to keep T-Rob too. I mean, this is going to be crucial, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's why Alabama wants to get this done within 72 hours. Because you want to get a coach in there fast.
Didn't you say, Scott, it was a Friday thing? Like
they want to have a coach in place by then, yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, y'all going to be down there? Or?
No, probably not. I mean, they'll have a coach in place. They'll announce it, and then probably 24 hours after they announce it, they'll have the introductory press conference. So if they announce it on Friday, they may have the press conference on Saturday. If not, they will hold it over till Monday.
Okay, awesome. Okay. All right, fellas, man, I enjoy the show, man. Y'all are.
Well, here we go. This is for Spencer right here. It's for Spencer right here.
Okay, what do you got?
This is coming from Aaron Suttles, who has a functioning brain, unlike Spencer. Okay, here is what he just said. Any list that has Kiffin's name on it isn't to be taken seriously.
There you
question.
Go.
On
to
the next one, brother.
Let's go to break.
Shows you how much he knows.
Let's go to break. We said it from the beginning that Kiffin would not.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Aaron Suttles.
Thank you, Aaron.
He has a brain.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Really is going to be a beautiful afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. We're dropping into the mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. Early into your Friday morning. During the overnight, showers and thunderstorms are going to begin to develop across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the strong end of the spectrum, but it doesn't right now look like we're going to be dealing with any severe weather. A mostly cloudy sky through Friday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to continue through a good chunk of the day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Getting a report of a power outage in South Huntsville, Governors south to Carl T. and Garth to Montesano. There may be quite a few traffic signals in there that are not functioning, so be careful as you make the rest of your trip in. Southbound on Research Park at Plummer, no injury, pulled to the side of the road. 565 eastbound at Greenbriers, a stall off to the left. Jordan and Ninth had an injury involved. 67 in Friendship and Morgan County had an injury. 31 in Garrett Road in Limestone County had an injury as well. With more than 30 years' experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on those heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And here's the thing. We've been talking all morning about Nick Saban stepping back, retiring as coach, who might be the next coach in line. And here's the thing. I know people are reacting, and there's been a lot of fond messages and everything sent out to Nick Saban via other coaches and everything else like that. We're going to go to SEC Media Days in July. Nick Saban will not be at SEC Media Days. It'll be the first time in 17 years, it'll be 18 years then, I believe, that Nick Saban will not be there. That'll be for us when it starts to set in that Nick Saban will not be the head coach at Alabama. But for everyone else, as far as fans go, the first time Alabama comes out of the tunnel in their season opener and Nick Saban is not there is when it's going to set in, I think, for everybody else. It's you still don't believe it today. But when no Nick Saban is on the sidelines for their season opener next year is when it's going to set in for everybody else that Nick Saban is not there against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, that's when it's going to be surreal. I mean, it's been a surreal last, it's been not 24 hours yet. I guess it's been more along
like
the lines
12
of 12,
hours,
12, 13, 14 hours. It's been crazy, no doubt about it. it's not something that we've been expected. Our next guest is now with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He's like me. He probably didn't get much sleep. He was on the phone and texting and vetting information all day yesterday because we spoke yesterday afternoon, and neither one of us was expecting to hear this. But it did happen. Nick Saban retired, and we're going to discuss it next. As we said, the founder and owner of TiderInsider.com, also the author of Bigger Than Bama, and now he might have to have a second printing and add a chapter to said book because of the just wild happenings that we've seen in Tuscaloosa over the last 12, 13, 14 hours, and that's Rodney Orr, who's been kind enough to join us for a few minutes on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Rodney, I know it's been crazy, but I value your friendship and your intel and your input. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Yeah, hey, Big Drew, I appreciate that. It's been like you said, it's been a crazy time here over the last 24 hours. And actually, I was at a lunch meeting yesterday with former University of Alabama sports information director, longtime sports information director Larry White. We're sitting there having lunch, and I get a call from a famous Tider Insider poster, and he says, "Hey, story going around at 4 o'clock meeting. Nick Saban's going to retire. He's going to announce. He's going to tell his players that he's leaving." I'm like, I just don't believe that. Reached out to someone within the complex, and they said, "Look, we have this meeting every year, first day of school, back to school. Coach meets with all the players here and the coaching staff and all these people to all get on the same page, set the stage for the off-season program, for spring practice, those types of things. And that's what I expect this meeting to be about, Yeah. And then, guys, it wasn't 10 minutes later. I'm looking on my TiderInsider.com, and somebody says Chris Lowe's reporting that Nick Saban's retiring. So, it's just that's the whirlwind. It just, again, we've heard these rumors. You guys heard these rumors. We've talked about them on the segments we've had here. That Nick Saban, all the rumors have been going on. They've been going on strong. These rumors would not go away. They've been persistent. And at his age, we can't really say we're surprised, but at the same time, I think even though we knew it was inevitable, I think the moment just kind of stuns you.
It does. It really does. And then, Rodney, you've been blessed because you've been around since '96 to follow this entire run for Nick Saban. And of course, you were an avid follower of Alabama football during the Coach Bryant years. You even got to cover some of his tenure in your previous days in television. Can we put into context what Nick Saban has meant?
Drew, somebody else asked me that. I was just on another radio show, and we were talking about that. And I think some people get caught up in saying, "Look what Nick Saban built," and I say it's look what he rebuilt.
Right.
The foundation, the greatness of Alabama football has been here since the 20s, and I explain that in my book. Which most people know. That's not necessarily, but it's something that I think we forget sometimes, that the greatness of Alabama football has been around over 100 years. And so with all that said, I just think that he was a guy that was Alabama at the time when he was hired. It was the perfect job for him. And people just said, okay, let's get out of his way and let him do this thing. And I think, too, there was such a great deal of trust for Nick Saban, what he had accomplished at LSU. A lot of coaches that have come through here, when you hire them, there's not a lot of instant trust among the fan base and all of that. Nick Saban, everyone believed Nick Saban. Now, I'm not saying everyone believed he was going to win 6 national championships.
Right.
But everybody believed that Alabama was going to be a top 5 program again, top 3 program. But did he exceed expectations? 100%. 6 national championships. What an incredible run. Historical to the point that Alabama fans now think if they don't win the national championship every 2 or 3 years, the whole thing's crumbling.
Right.
So what does that mean for the future, Drew? The guy coming in here, it's going to be a lot like Bryant. When Coach Bryant stepped down, everything's going to be scrutinized. This is just the Alabama fan base. That's why I think it's important that you make sure the best you can to get the right fit. Those are hard to find.
Yes.
Those are really hard to find. but get a great coach who knows how to recruit, knows how to manage a roster, is strong-minded, because there's going to be a lot of stuff he's going to have to deal with. I mean, a lot of stuff. And so, who's that guy? I mean, I really don't know right now. But I will say this, Drew, and Scott, I think we're probably going to get into this, so I don't want to keep rambling.
That's fine.
But I would think, and I don't know what you guys think, but I would think that the way this went down, not even the way it went down, but we knew that this was probably a strong possibility, because we've been hearing these rumors. Greg Byrne, the Alabama Board of Trustees, they were aware of this. I was told by a source close to the Board of Trustees last night, that I've known for 30 years, who's provided me with a lot of stuff in the past, a lot of information. And he said the BOT, or at least part of the BOT, I don't know about all, but he said the BOT was aware of this last week, that it was going to definitely happen. So I say all that to say, you would have to think that they've known this for a while. They knew the importance with the NIL, with the transfer portal, all of these things now, that you've got to have somebody, when Nick Saban steps down, you've got to basically have somebody lined up. I would think that they've got their guy basically lined up. I would hope that's the case, because I think it's really important to get the guy nailed down. I know they told the players yesterday, I heard this from two different sources, that they told the players in the meeting yesterday the coach would be in place within 72 hours.
Mm-hmm. When Nick Saban stepped to the podium in his introductory press conference, he said, we got to have one voice. And he was the one voice. That's got to be it. There can't be a lot of outside external voices. How important is it then for the next head coach to come in and keep that and make sure that it's just one voice? I mean, Nick Saban commanded the room. I mean, is that going to be hard for the next coach to come in and have to and be able to do that?
I think it always depends on that coach's personality. I think both can work. I do think both can work. But here's what I'd say. I would agree with you. And I'm saying agree with you. What you're saying, I think, is important. That one voice at Alabama is really important, because I think this train can run away from you fast. I mean, it's a different animal. I'm telling you. I had long talks with Coach Fran when he was here, and he talked about the difference at Alabama and how this is a difficult train to manage, and because of expectations, because the interest in the program, all of these different things make it a really difficult task. So I say all that to say, yes, I witnessed, for example, let's just say Mike Dubos's tenure. And I watched where they all could talk freely. You could grab a coach coming off the sideline and start asking him things. And I'll never forget this. Charlie Stubbs was the play caller on Saturdays. He was supposedly the quarterback coach, co-offensive coordinator. Neil Callaway was your co-offensive coordinator. He would game plan during the week. And I remember people would pull both those guys aside and say, now, are you calling plays some, or is he calling plays? And neither one of them would ever give you a full, complete answer or a direct answer. And I remember Stubbs saying one time, he said, I believe in the pass setting up the run, but I don't believe that's in the psyche of Alabama football. I mean, it's running the football is deeply embedded here, and it's difficult. So I'm just giving you an example of how, when you have multiple voices like that, the wrong messages can get leaked out.
Well, and Rodney, with as far as Alabama and their thought process, and as you said, the Board of Trustees and Greg Byrne being aligned, I think that's very important. I've received texts since this morning, about, do you think a large buyout, would that be any kind of thing that would stop Alabama?
Well, I think Lanning has $20 million?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the question: would someone in power at Oregon, if Dan Lanning told them I want to leave,
yes,
would they say, okay, well, they'd be willing to negotiate a buyout that would be less? I mean, I think that's possible. I think if he told him, look, this is my dream job, I'm just doing a hypothetical here.
Exactly. Yes.
So I don't know if that $20 million would be, something that's hard and fast. I mean, maybe, some people, maybe they would come off of that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think there are some relationships. I do understand that, supposedly Greg Byrne has a long relationship with Phil Knight at Nike.
Mm-hmm.
So could that be a possibility? I mean, I guess it could be. But do I think $20 million would be just, if that was the case, would that be difficult? Yeah, I think that would make them think twice. I really do. Now, Kalen DeBoer at Washington has a $12 million buyout. It's my understanding.
Right.
Not 100% sure on that, but that's what I'm told. Mike Norvell at Florida State, I think his buyout is $4 million.
Yes.
But listen, here's the thing. I think you have to be really prudent and make sure, okay, you got to say who is the right guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could lose more money in the long run settling for someone that's got a cheaper buyout.
Mm-hmm.
That $4 million, and I'm not saying this is not about Norvell, but that $4 million could turn into $24 million, if you get the wrong guy or whatever. It could turn into a lot more money.
You could turn into A&M.
So, I think you've got to make sure that whoever it is, you got to do the best job you can to kind of hopefully ensure to whatever extent you can do that it's the right guy.
If this was 4 years ago, Dabo Swinney would be at the top of the list. Dabo's not there anymore, correct?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't. I think if you mention the top 5 or 6, Dabo's name would be in there. I just don't. Here's the thing with Dabo, and this is not, again, we talked about the right fit, right?
Right.
I mean, Dabo, I just don't know, and I love Dabo, man. I as a person, he's done an incredible job. Everyone's happy for Dabo. But here's the thing. I mean, would he be a fit at Alabama? Would he be a fit? Personality-wise, would he be a fit? He doesn't like the transfer portal. He doesn't want to dabble in it. You know what, this SEC, you better dabble in it. You better more than dabble in it, I mean, There's a lot of things that I think Dabo's trying to hold on to from the past that how he wants to run his program, and I appreciate that. But times have changed, and if you come to the SEC, they'll run over you. Mm-hmm. And I think he's already feeling that in the ACC a little bit.
Well, and then, Rodney, you mentioned the 72 hours. We reported that earlier in our show. Do you expect – I don't know if there'll be a press conference by Friday, but do you think there'll be a decision by Friday?
Drew, you would hope so. I mean, I would hope that the decision's I would hope that it's already pretty much made.
Right.
Cross the T's, dot the I's, whatever.
Yes, sir.
I would hope that this process is down the road pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to, like I said, and I'll tell you this, I spoke to someone last night very close to one of the current players, and he told me, he said, he's already gotten calls from Ohio State. He's gotten calls from Auburn. He's gotten calls from Georgia. He's gotten calls from LSU. He's gotten calls from USC. He's getting calls from everybody in the country. And you think that one player is the only player getting calls?
Yeah.
I mean, on this roster?
Exactly.
There's people that right now, if they're not careful and get this thing, they have to get this thing done as quickly as possible. Because, Drew, let's just be honest, and this isn't Alabama, it's any program, Drew and Scott, and you know this. It could turn into like SMU in terms of people just, you know what I'm saying? People just walking in and taking your top 30 or 40 players, and then what are you going to do, you know?
Very good. Well, great stuff. We know it's going to be, the place to be, TiderInsider.com, hitting refresh. What a lot of conversation there's going to be, Rodney. Of course, bigger than Bama. Your book. We'll see if you have to add a second printing and another chapter. But let everybody know about TiderInsider.com and, of course, bigger than Bama. Yeah, TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card right now. If you're an Alabama fan, look, I don't know where else you'd want to be. Our all sports forum right now. I mean, it has been rolling. A lot of talk, a lot of chatter, a lot of stuff like right here. I mean, the latest information that's coming out from various sources, it's posted right there on our All Sports Forum. So all of that right now, only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. But again, if you want instant access, just use your credit card and you can have it immediately.
TighterInsider.com. As far as Bigger Than Bama, our book, we talked about that, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in another time. But you know what? It's $19.95. It's our book. You can find it on RodneyOrr.com. RodneyOrr.com. That's RodneyOrr.com. You can order it there. If you can't remember that, then Amazon is the easy way to find it too. So, Drew and Scott, as always, appreciate the opportunity to be on with you guys.
All right, thanks, Rodney.
Thank you, Rodney. Rodney Orr.
All right, let's get that. Yeah, we got to get that final break in. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a new wreck indicator at Gordon and 4th coming in as a no injury. Southbound Research Park near Plumbers pulled to the side of the road. Nobody hurt there. Working to clear Jordan and 9th. That was an injury type. 67 in Friendship in Morgan County had injuries. And 31 in Garrett Road also had injuries. Stall vehicle 565 eastbound to Greenbrier, partially blocking the left lane. Snelling needs a warehouse assistant with purchasing experience for the Greenbrier area. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, fast 2 hours.
It's been a fast 2 hours, Scott.
It's going to be a fast into this Alabama coaching search, though, too. I mean, it's not even really a search. It's more of
just what Rodney just said, reading in between the lines. You think so?
Yeah, it's more of a Greg Byrne has his guy.
Dotting
when
I's,
are we all
crossing
gonna know?
T's.
Yeah, when are we all going to know when that guy is?
Right.
And that'll happen within 72 hours.
And that's already well underway because we were even talking about it's been at least 12.
Yeah. So that's well under the way. Will we know by the end of the day?
Potentially.
Maybe. Will we know by tomorrow?
Guarantees.
Maybe. Yeah. I would say by tomorrow, 5
I
o'clock
would
at
say
the latest?
listen to the Czar from the boat show and then listen to the drive tonight. Everybody listen to 97.7 The Zone.
Yeah.
Except for Spencer.
Because Spencer's a dumbass.
Yeah. You said it. I'll let you just end with that.
Well, I mean, why not? I mean, look, he has provided the 2 greatest moments of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has. You and him went to a civil war.
Yeah,
literally.
pretty much.
I think he's the first guy you hung up on.
Probably so. I mean, he's definitely related to Sling Blade.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or